Hello, my name's Timothy Coos, and this is my presentation on childhood obesity and screen time. Yeah, so a little bit of background, not too much. Below is a graph of obesity rates over the past 40 years. Oh goodness me, like it's pretty terrible. So I mean, back in '75, it was around like 12% of adults are obese. I don't want to say that's good, but it's also it sounds pretty normal. Some people just gain weight faster than others. It's just the way it is. But then there's 2016. 35% of adults are obese. And I looked it up today. It's more like 45%, like just absolutely outrageous. I mean, so what's the blame here? Is it the easy access to calorie dense food, such as McDonald's, Taco Bell? I mean, don't get me wrong, I love my McDonald's and Taco Bell, but just like, I don't know, to that extent, sounds a little extreme. Is it the use of cars, motor vehicles? Because the way I think about it, I don't want to speak for everybody here, but some of us, especially the people I went to Rome with, the first thing we noticed was that no one really had cars. Everyone walked everywhere. And as a result, everyone was in pretty good shape. It was kind of weird. Like, it was also kind of a city setting, but also everywhere we went in Europe, everyone was pretty fit. It was kind of weird. Yeah, so what's the blame here? Is it the cars? Is it the lack of nutritional knowledge? I mean, I don't want to speak for everybody here, like I said, but back in middle school, high school especially, the only nutritional advice I ever got was from my sports coaches. And even then, it was bro science at best. They were just like, get your protein in, hit the weights, whatever, right? Yeah, is it the negligence of their parents, authoritative figures? Like, they just didn't really say anything? I mean, yeah, so this next slide focuses more on childhood or adolescent obesity in the United States. The rates are even worse for kids. I mean, so this is just over the past 20 years. I mean, like, there's a big old dip there and everything. We're talking like, it's pretty bad. Yeah, to the point where every 1 in 6 kids has obesity. Just outrageous. So, again, what's to blame? Is it parent negligence? School physical education negligence? Is it the easy access to bad foods? Is it because of unlimited access to internet and smartphones? Social media? I mean, seriously, like, what's the point here? Okay, so with all the history above in mind, let's take a look a little bit at a study conducted limiting screen time and seeing the effects in children specifically, obese or not. I mean, yeah, there's over 1,000 separate experiments. Like, it's just tons of information, tons of different controls. Like, some of the experiments were a little bit different than others, carried out by schools and individuals alike. So that's what I'm saying. Like, tons of factors, tons of things you don't think about. Like, you're at school, you're not supposed to really be on your phone, or being at home, you can be on your phone all you want, stuff like that. Right, so yeah, the dangers of screens. Let's see. So Instagram's just one example of how social media can be kind of dangerous. I mean, especially my generation, or sorry, our generation, we're finally starting to realize just having such unlimited access to so much information, and social media like Instagram, Facebook, and you don't really, no one really teaches you like, like certain photos aren't like realistic expectations, especially if you're working out along those lines. Yeah, so screens can be pretty dangerous. We can all agree. Just a little background on that, but the study conducted did find out that there was a slight positive correlation between access to screens and obesity, and a few other things. I mean, like, yeah, social media can be dangerous, but also like, screens are pretty terrible for your sleep. I mean, like, sleep's honestly super important. Um, Olympic athletes sleep like 10 hours a night, so like, if you're not sleeping a ton to recover properly, you're not giving your digestive system proper time to like rest, stuff like that. I mean, it's definitely not going to help if you're obese, like, if you're not sleeping. Yeah, I don't know if it's the blue light, especially. I don't know if there's any conclusive evidence on that. That's a different topic, but I mean, like, all I know is like, screens are definitely not the best thing to get like your proper rest, your proper relaxation. um yeah, definitely not the best. If Yeah. Yeah, so like I said above, ew. Okay. Yeah, like I said above, what did I say? Yeah, I said that there was a slight positive correlation between screens and obesity. I mean, like, yeah, kids that are obese were tending to spend a little bit more time on their phones. But here's the issue: there's also kids that spend tons of time on their phone, but also are not obese. So screens are just seen as a pretty big factor. Yeah, the studies are a tiny bit inconclusive. I mean, more controls are needed. Yeah, the intervention is only on children 1 to 18, and yeah, let's see some other details. I mean, no geographic restrictions. I mean, like these studies were taken like all over the globe. Like we're talking like India, freaking I don't know, like India, China. I think there was one from New Zealand, Germany, and especially the States. Right? Yeah, there's over 1,000 separate experiments. So there's too many experiments, too many factors, and yeah, but there was seem to be a positive impact between screens and obesity. So that's something to think about. Also, yeah, the effects of modernity on obesity and our like view towards it. I mean, like only time will tell. Yeah, so with keeping all the information above in mind, I mean the thing is a little bit of speculation here, a little bit of personal, recommendations, I guess. The thing is, childhood obesity is very preventable. Um, yeah, in adults and with kids especially. I mean, put their phones away; they're distracting. Like encourage them to go outside more, stuff like that. Easier said than done, I know. But yeah, the thing is, growing up, I was a little bit of like really kind of a bigger kid, and getting made fun of for that, being the big kid in the classroom, it's not a good feeling. Like it's awful for your confidence. You're also like super insecure. You're still growing up, especially in like middle school, high school years. Like you still super insecure with how you look. It's just the way it is. But yeah, it doesn't help when other kids are making fun of you for being the big kid. It's just awful for their confidence and so preventable. That's the worst part. So any kids going through this right now, I really do feel for them because I know exactly how that feels and how hard it is to try to get out of it. The cravings, feeling like there's no other way to eat, stuff like that. Um, yeah, something to also think about: unrealistic expectations from social media. A little bit more specifically, fake naturals. So yeah, the thing is, let's say I'm talking mostly about teenagers here, right? That are just starting to work out, just starting to put some muscle on, start to like look good, shape their body a little bit, start to look really good. But then you look on social media, you see pictures of like, you know, amazing physiques, and you're thinking like, why don't I look like them? I'm doing the same thing as them. I'm probably eating better than them. The thing they don't tell you is they're taking anabolic steroids, almost all of them. And so the thing is, they don't tell you that, or at least they didn't when I was still 13, 14. And how kids nowadays are shooting up steroids to try to look like that. And I think it's social media, to be honest with you. They're teaching that like you don't look good unless you look this way. That's an unrealistic expectation if you're trying not to take anabolics. Like, um, yeah, like most of the physiques you see online, pretty much like this: giant chest, Hawaiian roll abs. At least if you're, if that's what you're going for, and you're kind of like, damn, like why don't I look like that? And so it kind of like leads a little bit, in extreme cases, to depression, which can also lead to binge eating, which can then lead to obesity, right? So social media does have a big part to play, especially talking about all the screens, right? I mean, what are they doing? Usually when I'm on my phone, I'm usually on social media. That's just me. Um, Trying to do better with that. Anyways, yeah, bad fitness authority in schools. Physical education really needs to step it up. To be more specific, when I used to go to school, middle school, high school, teachers and faculty did not care, dare I say, like, if you got obese or not. And the thing is, like, they just say, like, oh, run a couple laps. Yeah, but the thing is, like, they weren't actually trying to help the kids that clearly needed some, like, direction as far as, like, exercise to show them how to do things properly to try to lose weight. Because it just, like I said above, it's horrible for their confidence. Um, I don't want to speak for all of them. It's just like, I mean, in the end, just like it's not gonna help. That's for sure. So yeah, physical education in schools really needs to step up the education and just they need to start caring a little bit and try to get these childhood obesity rates down. Yeah, like I said above in the food for thought little list, I mean, obesity is preventable, especially in kids. I mean, for one thing, there's sports, right? So don't quite force your kid to, play sports. But just sign them up, get them something they're interested in. Like sign them for a rec league. That's pretty low pressure. They can perform however they need to, and like I said, it's low pressure. No one's gonna really make fun of them or anything if they do badly. So that's a big one right there. Another thing is they need support. So like if you're anything like me, I'm not gonna lie, I used to never know how to lift weights until my dad set me up with basically a guy he used to go to the gym with, a giant dude from his work that bodybuilds. So I mean, he taught me just pretty much everything I know. So what I'm trying to say is every kid needs a fitness role model of some sort, whether it's the old guy in the gym that's always there, or an Olympic athlete on YouTube or something. I mean, they need some type of role model, preferably someone in person. Yeah, preferably, just because you want to be able to ask questions, right? You want to see you want them to be able to tell you, like, you know, you're not doing this right. You need to start doing this, more of this, stuff like that, right? Yeah. On a serious note, like, seriously, eat well. So the thing that helped me start eating better and get into better shape was, at a certain point, results greatly outweigh the taste. Taste is such a temporary thing. Food might taste terrible, but it might be amazing for you. The thing is, it's so temporary. You just got to remember that. If you want to look a certain way, you want to lose weight, you got to eat the food that you don't want to eat. It might taste terrible. There are ways to, like, spice it up. Let's say soy sauce, sriracha, stuff like that, whatever. But the point is, most of the time, you're probably not gonna like what you're eating. Like egg whites, no one likes egg whites. But yeah, eat well. I mean, the guy in the picture, I mean, like, look how much. Do you think he enjoys the taste of that salad? No, but he eats it to stay in good shape, right? I mean, like, there's just a certain sacrifice that needs to be made. I know this is hard with kids, but um, the earlier you teach us, I think the better. I mean, this is all just pure speculation and, like, personal recommendations, but I think this can all come in really handy to really help out some obese kids. And yeah, that's pretty much my entire presentation on childhood obesity. Hopefully, it was a little bit informative. And yeah, thanks for watching.